Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Yoga Dharma Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So we are very much fortunate today to have His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu with us. So last week also we had Srila Prabhupada disciple who was speaking, His Grace Deen Bandhu Prabhu, and today also we have our dear Anandmaya Prabhu, who is a Prabhupada disciple serving here last 50 years. And today we have a very unique format. Today there will be some questions being asked to Prabhuji, and first Sar Shiromani Prabhu will ask questions, and then after some time any devotee wishes to ask, they can also ask direct questions to His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachadine Nirvesesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
So we are very fortunate to have His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu. Prabhuji is a living example of how one should dedicate one's life in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhuji has been serving here from the last 50 years very sincerely. So we thought that to take maximum advantage of Prabhuji's association, we thought that we'll also try to know more about Prabhuji by asking few questions, and later devotees also can ask questions. So some questions are basically most of these questions are about your personal life, in the sense when you came to Krishna consciousness, and about Prabhupada's pastimes in Hyderabad. So I'll start, Prabhuji. So we see that the childhood or the upbringing of anyone in general has impact in the future. So would you like to share any of your incidents from childhood or your upbringing which actually helped you or impacted you in your Krishna consciousness, like in the future? In the sense, your childhood or upbringing, which some things which you learned from your parents or from the culture there, which actually helped you in the Krishna consciousness.
So how far the childhood can be a motivation for the later taking up Krishna consciousness? You are asking about my own childhood.
Means how something which your parents taught you, or some things which you learned from your
So what was favorable in my life at the
yeah.
beginning
Yeah,
was that
from your youth, when you were in your youth, like that.
certainly there was some good climate. I was born in a Catholic family, and my grandparents, both from my mother's side and father's side, they were very pious. They were very devoted to the Catholic Church in their own villages. So from the beginning of life, I was under the influence of the God consciousness as given by the Catholic Church. It was compulsory that every Sunday we have to go to the church and attend to the Mass and preaching by the head priest of the church. That was a compulsory. Even when I came to India later on, I was trying to find where are the churches on Sunday, especially. I was trying to go to some of the churches. Anyway, so that was certainly a positive element, and that later on I had no difficulty to develop God consciousness from that point where my grandparents and parents, they took me at the beginning. So that was a further development. Just like you go first standard, second standard, third standard, and so on, gradually go to the post-graduation level. So we can say Krishna consciousness is a post-graduation. And what I experienced, what I learned at the beginning of my life was the beginning standards, first, second, third, and so on.
Thank you, bro. So, from when your interest in spirituality started, like in your life?
From
Interest
when?
means how and when?
Of course, spirituality is some higher level of knowledge. One may be God conscious, especially among the Christians, but they may not have so much spiritual training. They are indulging in different types of sinful activities, even though they don't consider them to be sinful. They think life is like that, and this is part of life. Part of life is also indulging in many sports activities. So many opportunities are there from the very beginning to practice different types of sports. So there is no spirituality there. It's only some sentiment, certainly. Sentiment is there, God is there. Just like when I went to school at the age of 5. It was not a regular school, it was a tuition, private tuition. And I had only one book. That book was big like this. And the first page is that there is God. So the first lesson is certainly about the existence of God. But to development of God consciousness takes time. And to achieve spirituality, that is also takes time. Among the Christians, there are very few, practically speaking, who know about the soul. Many of the philosophers of a Christian background, they think that the mind itself is the soul. There is no higher tattva than the mind. They consider this to be the soul itself. And they don't understand that the soul is surviving the body. Body is temporary. They think that at the end of this body, everything is finished. Then you have to wait for the final day of the judgment after many, many thousands of years, when God will sit in his heaven and he will judge all those who have died. So we have to wait for the final judgment. There is no life in between. So that is their understanding. So spirituality is a higher level of understanding. So how to reach the platform of spirituality? It is only when we come in contact with the Vedic teachings. So Vedic teachings, even nowadays, are very difficult to approach, because there are so many gurus who do not preach the real spirituality according to the Vedic version. They have their own idea about how to live, how to be happy. They are very good speakers, not very. They can please the audience very nicely, and by a jugglery of words, they are attracting large audiences. So anyway, spirituality, really speaking, is only when you come in contact with a bona fide teacher who is in the parampara, Guru Parampara, and he will repeat the Vedic teachings according to authentic scriptures. Nothing else than that. That is the only way of developing spirituality. Otherwise, it is simply mental concoction. So as you are asking how did I reach this level, that is only by meeting disciples of the ISKCON Society. First of all, in 1971, when I was on my way to India. So in Paris, I met Indradumna Swami, who was here a few days ago. Of course, I had practically no conversation with him. It was in the street. So I was little in a hurry. I took one magazine and I kept it in my luggage. Then later on, I started to read. So from that point onwards, I became little better acquainted with the Vedic teachings. And when I came to India for 1 year continuously, I visited all the important temples. I had one book about temples in India that was written in French language. So I was going from one place to another by bus or train and going to temples like this. So gradually I became little trained up in the Vedic way of life. When I came to New Delhi, I remember that I went to YMCA for sleeping, in the middle of Connaught Circus. That was very cheap, just 1 or 2 rupees or 5 rupees. And next to me there was a Buddhist monk on the adjacent bed. So that Buddhist monk, I was very much impressed because I had some inclination towards Buddhism, but that's another subject matter. So he told me, don't make your stomach a graveyard. So that was a very deep instruction, deep statement. That means I should not eat animals. Animals go into the stomach, and the stomach becomes a graveyard for animals. So he told me very strictly, don't do like this. So I understood, this is very good instruction. So from that time onwards, when I was in India, I practically stopped meat eating unless there was no other opportunity. But I was very careful to follow this simple instruction. So this is one step towards spirituality. So like that, one step after another, gradually. Then I went to also Sri Lanka, Nepal, and then after 1 year, I was again traveling in Bihar. Then I met some of the disciples who were doing kirtan in a mela. So Tamal Krishna Goswami was there, and I had a conversation with him for about half an hour. So that was the real major step towards spirituality as far as the Vedic way of life is concerned.
Thank you, bro. So we can see that how sometimes when we do book distribution, we feel that we are distributing books, but what is the result? But we can see that His Holiness Indradumna Swami Maharaj distributed book and because
Magazine.
of that, magazine.
It was a French magazine.
So we can see that because of that, His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu has come and we are benefited by his association. Hari Bol. So Prabhuji, also would you like to share like why you started journey to India? Means what is the reason behind? Means why you started? What was the inspiration and behind this?
For many years when I was young, I was reading books about especially there was a book called The History of Civilizations, I think written by Max Weber, if I'm not wrong. And so I was going through that book and reading all the ancient civilizations of the world. One of the major one, of course, Chinese civilization is there, and there's Indian civilization. So by reading this book, I became very much interested in to understand more about Indian civilization. So, for some reason, which I became interested more and more gradually about going to India, but I had no such opportunity. But when I completed my studies, then I worked in a company for 3 months. And after that, immediately I got one phone call from one of my friends. He was a tennis partner. So he told me, I'm going to India. Would you like to come with me? I said, yes, I can come. I'll be very happy. I'll come. So we purchased a car, Volkswagen car, German-made car. And then after getting all the papers, visa and so on, it would take little time. And this is when I went to Paris, where I met Indradumna Swami. So then when everything was ready, then both of us started to drive the car and going by road, to Italy, Greece, then Turkey, then Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. So in between, we also went to different places. Remember, in Afghanistan, at that time there was one on the capital city, about 150 kilometers on the western side of capital of Afghanistan. There is at that time very famous, one of the 7 wonders of the world. In Bamiyan, the greatest Buddha murti or statue carved in the mountain. It was there for the last 2,000 years. It was 150 meters high. So the road was very bad. There hardly anybody going there. So somehow we managed to go there. And in this way, we went to such a place. And other places also in Iran, we visited some famous masjid, like places of worship, which were very famous, and that was a source of inspiration for us. In Bamiyan, I remember I remained like this for at least half an hour standing in front of the Buddha statue. You can just imagine, 150 meters high, carved in the mountain. It was absolutely extraordinary. So that trip to India was very fruitful, a great source of inspiration towards spirituality. You may have heard that this statue of Bamiyan, so I think about 15 years ago or so, was destroyed by some of the fanatic Muslims. They put a bomb at the feet of Lord Buddha, and it exploded, and the Lord Buddha collapsed completely. When I saw this in the news, I was very, very... I can't imagine how people who are supposed to be God-conscious, maybe Muslim is okay, no problem. God-conscious person, how can he do such a crime? Such an abominable crime. So anyway, in Sri Lanka also, I visited many Buddhist centers. Then in Nepal also. So anyway, so when I met Tamal Krishna Goswami, I was prepared for the next step in spiritual life. And the first question he asked me was, what is your goal in life? So I told him that my goal in life is to become fearless. He said, okay, very good, you sit here. So we had a conversation like this, very nice, for half an hour. Then he gave me prasadam, like that. Then he took me to Calcutta, took me to the ISKCON Center in Calcutta, and that was the final step, or the beginning of my final step in Krishna consciousness.
So after meeting His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, means you stayed with the devotees and continued, means after you met His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, so that time you means started staying with the devotees and continued serving.
Yeah, from the beginning. Nowadays, if somebody comes to the temple and have little interest, then you will tell him, or somebody will tell him, you come on Sunday, you can attend the program on Sunday morning, like that. And but there, at that time, it was different. Especially Tamal Krishna Goswami, he was very enthusiastic, and so immediately he changed my dress, gave me dhoti, kurta, kantimala, shaving head, and japamala, and everything was introduced on the very first day of my arrival in the ISKCON Center in Calcutta. So from the very beginning, I was given also seva, going for life membership. I had no idea what is ISKCON, but I was accompanied, of course. I was helping Madhavananda and Purna Pragya Prabhu enrolling life members. So that was from the beginning my life in ISKCON. There was no question of, no, in the future, I mean, you come next week, next month, after 10 years, maybe you'll get Diksha, so on, like that. No, it was not like that at that time.
Hari Bol. How your parents responded for your Krishna consciousness? And
So I was in regular correspondence with my parents, even when I was traveling. I was sending letters, maybe once a month I was sending letters and making an account of the places we had visited, these temples and all that. So I was keeping contact in this way. And then when I joined ISKCON, also at that time I told them, yes, now I'm staying in ISKCON in Calcutta, like that. So my parents were not upset, but they were a little inquisitive that how far commitment, what, is it a lifetime commitment or is it just a temporary commitment like this? So they were not exactly, they could not understand exactly what is ISKCON. They were very good Christians in their own right, and they were wondering now, how can you change your religion from Christian, now you become Hindu or something? What is this type of transformation? And so I told them we have very good principles, mentioned in my letter, principles we are following. I hope that at that time they could understand a little better. And then at one time, my mother came to India to see us. That was little later, sometime in 1974 or something like that. So then she had a direct acquaintance and understanding a little bit of Krishna consciousness, sadhana, like that. So certainly my parents, then gradually they accepted that I have dedicated my life for a very good purpose, and they had no objection ultimately.
thank you, bro. So, when you first time met Srila Prabhupada, in the sense, after coming to ISKCON and heard from him, how you felt and what difference you felt from the ordinary like Swamis and all, and what specific difference you could see in Srila Prabhupada. Means not only from his appearance but also from his behavior and speech.
So as I joined in Calcutta, I had the opportunity to read Prabhupada's books, especially like I remember I think Isopanishad or Krishna book. I was asking questions also for any doubt I had about these books, but I felt very much enlivened by reading these books. So gradually, of course, I became acquainted with Srila Prabhupada's teachings and personality by hearing the lectures from those who are in Calcutta at that time, including I have opportunity also to go to Mayapur every weekend, distributing prasadam to the people there with Jayapataka Swami. So like that, I became acquainted with the different activities of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada teachings and personality. So it was decided that in the month of October, we would go to Vrindavan, and those newcomers, they can take Diksha from Srila Prabhupada. So I was on the list. I was in this way listed as an aspiring disciple. And so we all went to Vrindavan. And so Srila Prabhupada was staying at the Radha Damodar temple. And morning and evening used to give lectures on the Bhagavad Gita and Nectar of Devotion. So I had the opportunity to hear Srila Prabhupada's lecture at that time. So I was certainly very much impressed by how Srila Prabhupada is giving wonderful lectures, how he is always quoting from Shastra to explain the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, not from his own mind, not his own ideas, not with the idea to please the audience, to gather more and more followers. At that time in the audience in Vrindavan, we were maybe maximum 50, approximately 50. And coming from Bombay, Calcutta, these are the two centers at that time, including Mayapur. So I was impressed by the authenticity of Srila Prabhupada's presentation. And also, of course, his physical appearance was somewhat exceptional, not from this world. It came when I saw Prabhupada entering into the Radha Damodar temple. When I saw him, I immediately had this idea, this person is not from this world. Even just considering his physical appearance, even though I have seen many photos. But when you see Prabhupada live, personally like this, then maybe you have this also, this impression that this person is not from this world. Actually, this was not my opinion. One great scholar staying in Tirupati, he was the greatest astrologer of his time in the Andhra Pradesh area. And one of my godbrothers, a disciple by name Patitudharan, he was a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He went to Tirupati to meet that astrologer, and he gave the astrologer the biodata, not the biodata, the time of appearance, time of birth of Srila Prabhupada, the day, exactly the time like that he gave. He didn't reveal the identity of the person. He said, this person is born on such date, such time. Please give me his astrological chart. The astrologer said, okay, very good. Tomorrow you can come, I'll tell you. No problem. You can come again tomorrow. Then the next day, again, Patitutaran went again and met this astrologer. And the astrologer told him, he told him, I'm very sorry. I'm not qualified. This person is not from this world. I cannot put his astrological chart. He is beyond this. That was the exact statement of that astrologer.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, bro. So, after being in Calcutta, can you please share that how you came to Hyderabad here and how you got settled here in your service?
Srila Prabhupada came to Hyderabad for the first time in November 72. At that time, there was a program arranged at the exhibition ground here, just half a kilometer away from here, arranged by the disciples from Calcutta, especially Bhavananda Prabhu at that time. And so I was part of the team coming to Hyderabad from Calcutta. So we arrived here. That was my first visit to Hyderabad for this about 10-day program. So Prabhupada gave lectures, very wonderful lectures. There was a committee for the program. All the important businessmen of Hyderabad had been together and arranged this program along with some of the disciples. So there was no ISKCON here. We were staying in a lodge in Begum Bazaar, and we attended the programs regularly, doing Nagar Kirtan and so on. So that was my first visit also to Hyderabad. Then I came back to Calcutta, again came back here in the beginning of 1973. So at that time, the temporary temple was started construction on the land donated by G. Pulareddy, sweet merchant, like that. So that was, at that time, my service to ISKCON Hyderabad started, enrolling life members, and like that, that was the starting point here.
So, means you were sent from ISKCON Calcutta to here
Yes.
by the devotees there. Okay. And during like Prabhupada, we hear like how Prabhupada visited totally around 6 times
Yes.
in Hyderabad. So can you please share, means that whole thing itself is there in that book Prabhupada in South
Yes,
India.
yes.
But can you share some incidents which which really touched your heart and also which can inspire all the devotees? Some incidents from Prabhupada visits, some famous incidents from all those 6 visits from which all devotees can learn during his visits.
There are
like
many, many different.
whatever you like few that itself is a separate class, but some.
So anyway, I can tell something in a few minutes. I cannot exhaust the subject matter. So in March 1973, Srila Prabhupada came here, and he laid down the foundation stone for the new temple here. The temporary temple had already been completed, and so we were staying there. And Srila Prabhupada did the first arati to the deity. So Prabhupada was standing outside the altar and waiting for the darshan. Prabhupada had so far not seen the deities, and then the curtain opened. So Prabhupada stood in front of the deity, and immediately Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh, Radha Madanmohan,
Haribo.
Hare Krishna." Immediately Srila Prabhupada gave name to the deities, Radha Madanmohan. Very beautiful name. Lord Krishna is enchanting the whole creation because of this beauty. And Lord Krishna is enchanted by Srimati Radharani, who is Madanmohan Mohini. She is enchanting Krishna. So both of them together are very wonderful. And Srila Prabhupada was very happy to start the temple worship at that time in the temporary temple. So at the same occasion, March 73, so Srila Prabhupada laid down the foundation for the new temple, for this temple, and also gave sannyas, ashram, sannyas order to Mahamsa. At that time, he was a brahmachari. He had taken Diksha earlier. He was from Pune, from a Parsi family, and he had joined ISKCON in America, or in Canada, I think, maybe Canada. So he took, Prabhupada gave him sannyas Diksha. And Mr. Hariprasad Badrukar was there also at that time. So he told, Hariprasad Badrukar told Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, Prabhupada, why you are giving sannyas to such a young devotee? He was just 23 years old. Mahamsa at that time, only 23 years old. So why giving sannyas diksha to such a young devotee? What will happen to him in the future? So Prabhupada said, yes, we are giving sannyas diksha because we need leaders. By giving sannyas diksha, he'll become a leader, and then by his preaching activities, then the movement will expand in this way. So that was Prabhupada's conviction, that we need spiritual leaders in this way. So that was one very nice answer. So Srila Prabhupada was residing in the house of Panalal Piti in Somajiguda. So there was a lot of opposition from some of the Smarta community. Smarta means those who are caste-conscious Brahmins. And they were objecting to Srila Prabhupada. Why you are giving Diksha, including Brahmin Diksha, to Sudras and Yavanas coming from the West? Prabhupada kept silence. He did not answer to this criticism. They just spoke their angry comments, but Prabhupada kept silence. He did not argue. So that was also something very... otherwise, Prabhupada could have argued. He was certainly qualified to explain his position. But he did not answer to that. Just let them go. Let them shout, no problem. Let them come and shout whatever they want. Then they will go. They will not come back. They'll go to their own places. We don't care for them. That was his silence. So sometimes we have to be silent like that. So anyway, when Prabhupada came to the farm, at that time, that was in 1975, Srila Prabhupada visited the farm at New Naimisharanya, 40 kilometers from here, near Medchal. So, at that time, the, what's his name? That former ambassador to Somalia, Huh? Yeah, Mutyal J.B. Mutyal. He was there. So he came to Srila Prabhupada like this, and he was already well known to Prabhupada. He had done some service. We had a press conference there. So he was very helpful, very nice gentleman. So he asked from Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I would like to take Diksha from you. So I was also next to some type of, I was trying to introduce Mutyal also, favoring his approach. Prabhupada told him, you see, okay, for Diksha, we have some principles. These principles, then Prabhupada enumerated. No illicit sex life, no gambling, no meat eating, and no intoxicants. So you can follow these 4 principles, then certainly I'll give you Diksha. Then, are you following these principles? Then that J.B. Mutyal was little embarrassed. So he was a little, he put his head down a little bit, then he was really counting 4 principles. Prabhupada, I'm following about two of them. I may follow 2 of them like this. So Prabhupada told him, okay, anyway, you try to follow all the 4 of them, then afterwards I'll give you Diksha. All right. So that was Prabhupada's answer. I was there present just next to it, so I can remember just like it happening today. Doesn't go out of my mind, out of my memory, all these important events. So many
Can you share that incident of Prabhupada bringing rains? That if it is that incident of rains,
Prabhupada?
rains.
Rains.
The Lord.
Yeah, in November, in the 72, we had this program here in the exhibition ground, Prabhupada giving lectures. And that was a time that there was a drought, no rain. Even in a rainy season, that was in March, April, there was no rain in Hyderabad, practically speaking. And then we had our kirtan, Nagar Kirtan, in November 72, which is not a rainy season, but suddenly there was a rainfall, very severe rainfall.
Haribo.
And so Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his lecture that the Annad Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyadanna Sambhava, that is one of the important slokas of Bhagavad Gita, that man can maintain himself through anna, rice or grain, and Parjanyadanna Sambhava. By this grain, how to get grain? By rain. So that was Prabhupada quoted the sloka. So he said, and then Yad Yad Bhavati Parjanya. How to get this Parjanya? Parjanya is coming from Yagya. So as you do Sankirtan Yagya, in this age of Kali, Sankirtan Yagya, then you will get rain. So Prabhupada, in this way, said just like there was rain just now because of our Sankirtan. So the rain came. And the next day in the newspaper, I forgot either the Hindu or Indian Express, I forgot which paper. There was an article, Swamiji bringing rain to Hyderabad. That was the title of the newspaper.
Also, can you share that incident, like how polarity was inspired to give this land?
Yes.
And also that Badruka Hari Prasad for that farm.
So Sri Pullareddy was from a very humble background, from Kurnool. He was a sweet shop owner in Kurnool. He was at the beginning keeping his basket of sweets and going in the street and selling sweets in the street of Kurnool. He became acquainted with some of the politicians because Kurnool was capital city of Andhra Pradesh at that time for some time. So he knew some of the politicians gradually. So he came to Hyderabad and he got this land here. He was registered in the name of his wife. And so he had opportunity to meet some disciples in London. He had gone to London, and there in the street of London, he saw this Harinam Sankirtan, and he was very much happy, very surprised and happy to see Harinam Sankirtan in London. He had no idea about ISKCON, never heard. So he kept in mind, this is very wonderful, all these devotees chanting Hare Krishna in the city of London. So when he came here, he also saw, the same kirtan is going on, ISKCON Society, and the spiritual master Srila Prabhupada is there. So he was very happy. And he met Srila Prabhupada, and he told Srila Prabhupada of his experience, and he told him that I want to give you this land, about 1,000 square yards. It is, please take this land, you can build a temple here. Like that he told Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada accepted the offer, and Jipuladi also told him that actually I am not giving you this land, because this land does not belong to me. It is Krishna's land. So whatever belongs to Krishna, just Krishna is giving to you. Just like when you worship the Ganga, you go to Ganga, Haridwar, Rishikesh, go inside the Ganga. And how to worship Ganga? You take some Ganga Jal, take in your hand, and put it back in the Ganga, like this. You offer Ganga to Ganga. So Jipuladi said, this Krishna's land, I'll give to you. This is not my donation, it is Krishna's donation.
So we can see that sometimes we see that devotees think that what is the benefit of doing Harinam Sankirtan.
What is
But
it?
sometimes devotees think that what is the benefit of doing
What is
Harinam
benefit?
Sankirtan. But we see that we got this land for Madanmohan, Radha Madanmohan because of Harinam.
Yes, it cannot be calculated by a materialistic mind. People also say, or they may have the idea, why you are wasting your time? Why are you so negligent about your duty? You have duty, family duty, social duty. So many duties are there. Why you are wasting time chanting Hare Krishna? Why you are so irresponsible? That is also the opinion of many people in India, even in the West also, of course. In India, even we had so much opposition. If you read some of the books written by some disciples, like Giriraj Swami, in Bombay, we had regular Nagar Sankirtan. And police stopped. They say, this is noise pollution. Noise pollution. You are disrupting the traffic. Actually, the traffic noise is so much. All the cars and heavy vehicles, they make so much noise and they pollute the atmosphere. And we are just simply doing kirtan on the side. But for the police at that time, we were just troublemakers and disturbing the traffic. So they stopped our Sankirtan for some time. So even in India, even in Bombay, where spiritualism should be cultivated, this is our cultural heritage, Harinam Sankirtan. But the new generation, without any proper understanding, considering that Nam Sankirtan is a waste of time, or even it is noise pollution. There was in Switzerland, just I can remember, I was not there, but I came to know that the Sankirtan was arrested by the police. They were taken to the police station. The police told them, you cannot have this chanting, loud chanting in the street. This is not allowed. Not allowed here. You cannot do that. And they took the devotees to the police station. So in the police station, all the devotees took Mridanga Kartal, started to chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
So the police said, oh, again they are doing kirtan. Oh, this is too much. Get out of here. Don't stay here, you go. They were free from the police station.
So can you also share some incidents of like Prabhupada disciples like His Holiness Achyutananda Swami Maharaj, and like how they were preaching those days in the initial days in South India? Like sometimes you were sharing His Holiness Achyutananda Swami Maharaj and other disciples, like they were helping to collect funds for Radha Madanmohan temple. So can you just share a few incidents like how they were preaching vigorously?
So we had so many programs in Andhra Pradesh, in Bangalore, Chennai, and other places, Visakhapatnam, between 1973 and 1977 especially. At that time, the temple here was under construction. We started temple construction, we had 5,000 rupees in the bank. But ultimately, the temple construction cost was 11.5 lakhs of rupees. So all this money had to be collected, and that was made possible by enrolling life members. So many beautiful occasions were there. It was really a wonderful moment in our life in ISKCON, to go and travel, arrange programs everywhere, and collect money for the temple construction. Just like I have so many, memories. One I can just tell one after another. I don't know how much time we have, but in Guntur, we had a program with Achyutananda Swami as the main speaker in LIC ground. It's an open-air ground, and there were about 4,000 people assembled. It was a very nice program. And at the end of the lecture, Achyutananda Swami told the audience that we are constructing our temple in Hyderabad. So I'm also traveling toward Andhra Pradesh, and I've been to many temples here in Andhra Pradesh. And I've seen in all these temples, the deities are wearing duplicate ornaments. Duplicate ornaments. But here I see, Guntur is not a poor place, a very rich place. All tobacco merchants are there, and cotton merchants are there. On the first lines, the businessmen accompanied by their wives were present on the first lines. And Achyutananda Swami indicated, I see here, all the ladies here, they are wearing real gold ornaments. Is it not? Yes, yeah. Nobody denied it. Yes, gold ornaments. So my humble request, kindly consider, we are building our temple in Hyderabad. Kindly, tomorrow is our last day, and we are distributing empty envelopes. Our disciples are going, will give you empty envelopes. Please come again tomorrow and make your offering. Make your offering. So the people understood that the idea is that gold donation, it will be very much appreciated in this way. So the next day, we collected all the envelopes, and most of them were having gold in it, gold ornaments.
Devo.
So that was very good donation at that time. And Srila Prabhupada came to know about it. The news circulated. Prabhupada was in Bombay at that time. He came to know. And he told, I'm traveling throughout the world since so many years. I never got any gold donation. And Achyutananda Swami, he got so much gold donation. Like this, he praised, he glorified this disciple. Hare Krishna.
Can you share any specific instructions Prabhupada gave for like Hyderabad in terms of some specific instructions here?
The major instructions I remember were about cleanliness. See, when Srila Prabhupada came to inaugurate this new temple here in August 1976 on the occasion of Janmashtami, for opening this new temple, Srila Prabhupada visited the entire temple. He went to the kitchen, he went to the first floor, he went down to the underground basement. Prabhupada went practically everywhere throughout the temple. And the disciples, including temple president Mahamsa Swami, and myself and others also accompany Srila Prabhupada. What I remember from this is that Prabhupada's emphasis was maintaining cleanliness. That was a very major instruction that Prabhupada gave us. Prabhupada entered the kitchen on the ground floor, which is now the same place, that big kitchen. And Prabhupada saw the kitchen. We were also looking around, following like this, following what Prabhupada is saying, we were also trying to see. So Prabhupada saw what is called a wok. A wok that is a black vessel, to cook puris. There was a black vessel like this. So apparently, it seemed that this wok was clean. Of course, it is black color, but it looked like clean. Prabhupada was doubtful. And he took the wok like this, and he did like this, upside down. So he saw some marks, some red marks were there on the backside, some bottom side of the wok. And he said, oh, this is so dirty. So dirty. So everybody was listening to this instruction, major instruction about cleanliness. So dirty. Then Prabhupada started to explain from his own life experience. In Calcutta, I was there. I went to a Bhangi house. You know Bhangi? Bhangi is a person who is cleaning the toilets. He is called a Bhangi. Prabhupada, I went to Calcutta, Bhangi's house. Oh, it was so clean. Every day, that Bhangi used to take cow dung and spread on the floor. So clean. Then Prabhupada said, I went to Pune also. I went to a very big businessman in Pune. Oh, it was so dirty. So dirty. So in this way, Prabhupada told the temple president that you are from Parsi family from Pune. Yes, yes, Prabhupada, yes, Prabhupada. You are still a Parsi. You are still a Parsi. That was the lesson he gave at that time. So we were just like trying to understand what level of cleanliness. Everybody understand, yeah, Saucham, that is part of Brahminical culture. The temple should be clean. Everybody knows. How far it should be clean? Nobody knew. Only Prabhupada knew how far, what is the standard of cleanliness. Only Prabhupada knew. That was our instruction at that time. So there are other instructions also regarding cleanliness. That Prabhupada came to Mangalarti. And then after Mangalarti was over, then all these Panchadip and other instruments for worship, they came to the Pujari room. Immediately, Prabhupada, he was in the temple hall, and Prabhupada immediately went inside the Pujari room. And Prabhupada took the Panchadipa and started to clean the Panchadipa. Oh, everybody was surprised. Why Prabhupada is... Then the Pujari, one Pujari said, Prabhupada, no. Please, one devotee will do it. One devotee will do it. Prabhupada said, I'm also a devotee. In a very humoristic manner. I'm also a devotee. Why I cannot do that? So Prabhupada gave, in this way, the lesson was that the pujari, all the implements for puja should be cleaned immediately after arti is over, puja is over. Immediately it should be clean. Not waiting for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour afterwards. Immediately. So that is the lesson that Prabhupada wanted to give. I don't know what's happening now, but this I can remember. Other lessons also were there regarding cleanliness. I don't know if there is time for that.
Yeah, one last question, Prosi, as we have time is getting on. So can you please share some personal instructions you received from Prabhupada, or specifically about the, if you received any personal instructions, and also about starting the BBT in Telugu for the Telugu books, Prabhupada books.
So I don't remember any personal instruction as such regarding the seva to be done. At that time, I was a temple secretary and all that, looking after the life membership program and different preaching programs. And so that instruction regarding starting the BBT in the Telugu language was given to the temple president, Mahamsa Swami. He told him that now you have done 50% of your work, and remaining 50%, you have to print all my books into Telugu language. So Mahamsa Swami said, okay, Prabhupada, all right. Then he came to me afterwards. Mahamsa Swami told me, why you can do that? Would you like to print Prabhupada's books into Telugu? So I said, all right. It's a very wonderful assignment, very wonderful seva, and I'll try my best. And immediately we contacted some of the well-known translators, professional translators from a Vaishnava background. And they started immediately to come to the temple and translate. The first book was Bhagavad Gita. So from 76, translation started, Bhagavad Gita. And it was published, first edition, 1984. So it took 8 years to publish the first edition, Bhagavad Gita, that was the first book. Our head translator, he told me, first instruction he told me, the first instruction regarding book publishing, never rush to the printer. You make sure that everything is in without any mistake. So that takes time. So in this way, I had no idea when I took this seva. I had never visited any printer, never visited any paper merchant. I had no idea Telugu language. I didn't know a single word. But I had great respect for Prabhupada books. And I took this seva as a great favor. That's all.
So we can see that how Prabhuji has taken that instruction so seriously, and from last so many years Prabhuji has been getting those books translated and getting it printed. So sometime back Prabhuji was telling that from the last almost 50 years or so, 45 to 50 years, around 13 lakh books were printed in Telugu Bhagavad Gita, and around 56 lakh books, all the books together got printed under the direction of His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu, and they are distributed all over Andhra and Telangana and all over the world. So we can see that, as Prabhuji was mentioning, that although Prabhuji is not knowing Telugu language, he is from France, but we can see that how if a disciple sincerely takes the instruction of spiritual master and applies how Krishna empowers, and how he can get wonderful things done through the devotee. So we have a very amazing example like His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu, serving here from the last 50 years. So we are very, very fortunate. Generally we see that devotees, they keep moving here and there, and they are not very stable sometimes. But for one single devotee to stay at one place in spite of not being his own country or state, not knowing the language, and facing so many difficulties in terms of his service situations, but going through all that with so much patience and very steadily practicing Krishna consciousness. So we are very, very fortunate that we have the association of His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu. So today we could only cover some part of the questions. Maybe in future we'll try to again have another session like this where we can ask some more questions and take Prabhuji's association. So many of the like Prabhupada's pastimes are mentioned in that Prabhupada in South India book. So those devotees who want to read further about because that book actually was written by, I forgot his that
Rajshekhar.
His Grace Rajshekhar Prabhu. But in that book many incidents were told by His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu only. So that book will actually help us to understand more about Prabhupada's visits to South India, and specifically most of the book is actually about Prabhupada's visits to ISKCON Hyderabad, major part. So devotees can read that book and understand like Prabhupada's visits here and his teachings here. So again we would like to thank His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu for giving his valuable time. So let us thank Prabhuji by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One last question, Prabhuji. Like we see that during Prabhupada's times, how devotees were so much dedicated in serving Srila Prabhupada. In the sense, they were giving so much of their time, energy in book distribution, Harinam, and so many services. So, how can we also become like dedicated in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, so that we can also serve Srila Prabhupada like that. Means you can just share so that all the devotees also can learn and get inspired to serve Srila Prabhupada, because we see that Prabhupada disciples like all of you are so much dedicated, and that's why so much service is happened and is also happening. So you can please, then we'll end.
So service to Srila Prabhupada, everybody has heard also. There are two types of service. One is Vapu Seva, the other one is Vani Seva. So Prabhupada emphasized the importance of Vani Seva. Books are the basis. Books are the basis. So by reading Prabhupada's books, we understand the Vani. That means we understand the philosophy, how life should be conducted, what are the principles we have to follow, what are the instructions given by the spiritual master, by Srila Prabhupada, and by association with those devotees who are following these instructions, coming to the temple and started to follow all these principles of spiritual life, one gradually will come to the proper consciousness, and our life can take a new direction. So by following these instructions, Vani Seva, then we can develop the proper attitude and devote ourselves, dedicate our life to Krishna consciousness. So those who are serious about understanding what is this human life is meant to be eternal servant of Krishna. That is our position. So we have to realize this. I'm eternal servant of Krishna, and this is possible only by serving the spiritual master. And he will introduce us to service of Krishna. So Guru Krishna, Pasade Bhai, Bhakti Lata Bij. So that is the method of developing the proper determination. So everything should be done in a favorable manner. One should accept things which are favorable and refuse not to follow things unfavorable. Like this, we have to follow all these principles. Then if we are serious enough, definitely Srila Prabhupada will bestow his blessing now also to those who are trying to follow this Vani. So nobody is exempted. Everybody is qualified to follow this.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we see that His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu, how Srila Prabhupada, although physically left in 1977, but Prabhuji has been very sincerely following Prabhupada's Vani and applying in his own life and also following those instructions. So Prabhuji is a great example for all of us to follow in his footsteps, that how a disciple should sincerely serve the instructions of spiritual master. So let us again once thank Prabhuji for giving his valuable time and association, and definitely we would like to also have some more sessions like this, where in future we would like to take your association and ask some more questions so that we can all learn and apply in our own lives. So let us thank Prabhuji once again by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada
Ki Jai.
His Grace Anandmaya Prabhu ki Jai.